Now, back to Tony and Casey's Best of Food and Wine on CL 650.
Girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top. Sun-kissed skin so hot, will make your popsicle.
Welcome back to the Best of Food and Wine. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Casey Wilson.
We got a California girl with us, I think. Well, you're a master sommelier. That's even better. Joining us from Beringer Vineyards is Gillian, Ballance. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What a great name, Ballance. For somebody in the wine business.
My previous career was a ballet dancer, so I've done two things that are really associated
Weird.
to my name.
Yes.
So strange.
How did you get from dancing to wine?
Working in fine dining restaurants. My first job was at Windows on the World in the World Trade Center.
Oh,
Wow.
I
boy.
was trained by Kevin Zraly and Andrea Immer, now Robinson,
Yep.
who was one of the first female master sommeliers.
Yeah.
So I really had a great...
I know. Does it get any better than that?
As far as on-the-job training, it really doesn't. We had a 150,000 bottle cellar. It was a treasure trove of great, spectacular wine. So I couldn't have asked for anything better.
And people still talk about Kevin's book on wine as still one of the best books to read.
All the time, because he really simplifies wine in a way that other... nothing against masters of wine, but they are very technical. Kevin
Yes.
is much more why you should enjoy it and how. And
Is that more emotional?
Yeah, I think so. And just really deeply rooted in kind of the development of wine and the success of the wine industry in America, personally. But I love his book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said. Beringer.
Beringer Winery.
You're at Beringer Winery. Tell us what your role is at Beringer.
Well, I've been a sommelier for the better part of my adult career, and came to Treasury Wine Estates and Beringer specifically to head up the education program. So I'm the national education manager, not just for Beringer, but for all things Treasury. Beringer holds a very special place in my heart because, as most people, it was the very first winery that I visited in Napa Valley. And it really takes visiting there to see and appreciate the history, the legacy, the deep rooted sense that you get when you're at Beringer and realize 1876, many years of continuously operating as a winery. It's just a spectacular place to visit.
Tell us why our listeners should visit there and what they can expect if they pull into that driveway.
Well, first of all, I think that we are top rated in winery hospitality. We've had a very long time to kind of develop our program. So we offer everything from, we do a food and wine and balance tasting where you can taste wine and food together. We do reserve tastings in the Rhine House that was built by Jacob Beringer. So you're in a very fantastic historic setting. We also, in the 1940s, we started to accept visitors to the winery. So we are one of the first wineries in California to open up to tours. And the Beringer family used to bus people up from San Francisco in the 40s.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
To come and enjoy wine for the entire day and really appreciate the culture and the lifestyle that is truly Napa Valley. So I think you get all those things when you visit today. It's really a
They're
special place.
cutting down on people visiting some of the wineries in Napa. It's not as easy as it used to be.
Definitely not, but if you are grandfathered in, which is what we like to say,
Yes.
we don't really have a limitation, but we do monitor very carefully the experiences, the walk-through tours, and you can still walk through the original winery that was erected in the 1870s. We don't make wine there anymore for safety reasons, but you can certainly tour those old caves that are just dug into the side of the
No, they're
Mayacamas
beautiful.
Mountains.
We've done that. We've also
Yeah.
eaten in the dining room,
Oh, great! Yeah,
private dining room, which was wonderful.
yeah, top notch in hospitality, and like I said, just very deep rooted in kind of the history of Napa Valley in general.
And quite famous for Cabernet.
Very famous for Cabernet, as is most
And
of Napa
Merlot
Valley.
and Chardonnay, but Cabernet has always been a big
Yeah.
deal there.
Yeah, and I think that Napa Valley is so special for being such a small region and having such a gigantic reputation. Only really fabulous wines can do that, and I'm so proud to say that I feel like Beringer has always contributed to that success and always tried to be innovative, make better and better wines, develop our very spectacular vineyard sites, all of which go into all of our bottling. So.
Our guest is Master Sommelier Gillian Ballance. She's from Beringer Vineyards, and she's brought along a bottle of wine that we're going to taste right now with her. She's an MS. She's going to really help us with this. And it turns out it's from Knights Valley, which is, the 2013 vintage? Yes, it is, Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, Knights Valley is a kind of a special place. Tell our listeners how it's located. It's kind of stuck up the top there between...
So Beringer is, it rooted in Napa Valley.
Yep.
The winery itself is in St. Helena.
Yep.
However, back in the 70s, Mark Beringer, who's our current winemaker, so we actually have a Beringer making the wine again, which is great. He's our 8th chief winemaker. It was his father that discovered the Knights Valley and purchased 500 acres there back in the late 70s. When nobody was there. Peter Michael wasn't there.
Yeah.
Luc Morlaix wasn't there. Nobody was planting vineyards in the Knights Valley at the time. He recognized the real terroir-specific place, alluvial soils, very beautifully sloped vineyards. It's the northernmost and warmest part of Sonoma. So if you leave Beringer Winery and you drive north, and then you take a right after left after Calistoga and head west, you cross over the county line. So it's very close to Napa.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they, just thought it was such a spectacular site. So all 5 Bordeaux varietals are represented in this blend. I feel like it's one of the most famous wines that Beringer's known for. And just a really beautiful expression of a Bordeaux-style blend that's elegant. To me, it kind of encompasses the best of Sonoma and Napa in that there's a lot of red and black fruit in the wine. There's a savory characteristic, almost like a black olive, lots of savory herbs, and it's just a really beautiful expression of a Cabernet blend.
It's quite delicious.
And I think
such a beautiful deep color.
Yeah, and I think because we have the history and the tradition of farming these 500 acres, we are able to charge what we do for the wine. So, if you and I decided to go to Knights Valley tomorrow, plant a vineyard and try to make this wine.
It's not going to happen.
We couldn't do it, and we could definitely not charge the
Couldn't
price.
afford to buy it.
Couldn't afford it. So
No.
it's great.
And what do you think is what are your favorite pairings with this Cabernet Sauvignon?
I find that because this wine spends less time in oak, only about 12 months, it's really meant to be a very approachable style. So, I could envision it with anything from roasted pork loin with savory herbs to even, a really nice cheeseburger or, just something with some good protein to it. I always feel like the most simplest dishes showcase a great wine the best. So I'd probably keep it kind of low profile as far as competing flavors.
Could you ever do it with a fish stew, a cioppino, or...
I could, yeah, definitely, absolutely. As long as there's enough kind of herbaceous or tomato characteristic too, because I think the acid in the tomatoes would really carry the flavors forth as well. So,
is it your first time here at the show?
It is, and I have to say, not only is it spectacular to be here at the show, but I was working the market for a couple days prior to the show, and I could feel the momentum in the city building up. I even took a seaplane over to Victoria, and everybody was talking about coming to the show and how excited they were to be here this year, how excited they were that Italy was the country.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Cheers, Federico. It's just it's exciting. You really feel the momentum and the appreciation.
The energy,
This is a great wine city.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Thursday night is Geek Night here, so you'll see these are the real, the big tasters, and then Friday night it gets busier.
Yeah, I'm told that I'm going to get to meet the Sommelier of the Year. At some point that you announce tomorrow.
And what about the new generation of winemakers? What's changed, and are there any trends that you see?
Are you talking about Napa Valley specifically, or around
just,
the world?
Yeah, your experience with has wine changed? They're saying millennials drink differently. Is that true? Do you see that?
I think that millennials are more willing to take chances, and they don't want to drink what their parents drank or their grandparents drank. They want to think outside the box a little bit. I think that emerging regions, too, have contributed greatly to that. But overall, I see the progress of the wine industry in general really being, all wines are made better these days. Smarter ways of making wine. Being willing to take more chances because you have, kind of the scientific or technology background to be able to take those risks and really, showcase terroir. I mean, for me, it's all about being able to taste a sense of place in every bottle of wine. And if I can't do that, then I really don't love the wine. So that's why I work for Beringer and, Treasury Wine Estates, because we have a very great sense of that terroir. Try to bring it out in all of our wines.
Gillian, it's fun to have you on the show.
Thanks.
People can come down and see you at the winery for sure, and or see your people that have been trained by you anyway.
Absolutely.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I should mention that the Beringer Knights Valley Cabernet Sauvignon is widely available in this market for $45 a bottle, and it's young at this point, 2013. It's probably going to last. Not last. It's probably going to sleep well through 2020 before it even really starts to show its real stuff.
Optimal drinking window is within probably 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Mind you, 13 for Northern California is a very big vintage for us.
Yeah.
Really rich fruit, dense, a lot of structure in the tannins. Which is quite unlike 12, which is a little more classic, a little slightly cooler of a vintage. So yeah, these are big wines.
Well, thanks for joining us. I learned something great, that my kids are not going to drink my wine cellar.
Exactly. I've been telling you that, Tony.
News. That's the best news I've heard all week.
Unless you have wines from the year that they were born, in which case
I have all that.
count on it from every birthday forward.
That's a problem.
Well, count on us coming over to, drink your cellar, Tony.
And I hope that you all come to see us too at Beringer. Come to see us in Napa Valley. We have great hospitality. So,
Gillian Ballance, Master Sommelier from Beringer Vineyards. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
There's more coming up on the Best of Food and Wine. The Wine World is here in Vancouver. We're live on location at the Vancouver International Wine Festival. This is one of the best festivals in the world for consumers. We know that. And guess what? We're the Best of Food and Wine. We'll be right back.
This is Tony and Casey's Best of Food and Wine on Smooth and Easy. Sea Isle 650.